My worst nightmare came true when I discovered my home had been invaded not by a thief, but by the HOA president, Diane Harper, who waltzed in with her master key, pawing through our lives like she owned us. Her excuse? A neon green birdhouse my daughter crafted before college, a vibrant defiance of her beige empire. But that birdhouse wasn't the only thing she tried to take. She stole our peace, our privacy until we turned the tables and brought her down. Let me tell you how it went. We'd moved to Silver Pines, a lakeside haven promising calm and community. The glossy brochures sold us on quiet nights, tidy lawns, and a dock where Mr. Larson fished at dawn. My wife, Laura, and I poured our savings into this house, our forever home, picturing grandkids splashing in the lake. For a month, it was perfect. Neighbors brought cookies, and we toasted sunsets on our porch. Then Diane appeared. The HOA president. She greeted us with a smile as fake as her manicured nails, handing over a rulebook thick enough to stop a bullet. Just some guidelines, she said, her eyes glinting. We keep Silver Pines pristine. Her welcome cake tasted like sawdust, but we nodded. A week later, a fine arrived, $25 for an uncoiled garden hose. I thought it was a joke and called her. Diane, it's a hose, I said. Her voice turned icy. Rules are rules, Mr. Bennett. Section 4, Paragraph C. Hoses must be neat. Laura sighed. Pay it, Mike. It's not worth a war. I paid. Big mistake. The fines piled up. Our mailbox was half an inch off regulation. A weed sprouted in our lawn. Our trash can sat out too long. Each notice was a jab, a slow bleed. Our neighbor, Ray, a retired mechanic with a yard full of quirky windmills, was Diane's punching bag. Another one, Mike, he'd laugh, waving a fine for a windmill's excessive spin. Ray fought back with more garish decorations, but the constant nitpicking eroded my sanity. I measured my grass obsessively, feeling Diane's shadow everywhere. The piece we'd bought was a lie. Diane's rules spared her allies. Her yard was a mess, yet no fines came. Her cronies parked RVs in driveways, clear violations without a word. She was a tyrant. Her HOA bored a pack of cowards. Most neighbors paid quietly, scared of her power. The last family to resist, the Morgans, moved after she buried them in liens and harassment. My temper burned to confront her at her tacky mansion, but Laura stopped me. She wants you to lose it, Mike. We need to outsmart her. We played her game for months, paying fines, pulling weeds, becoming model drones in her kingdom. We waited for her to overreach, knowing her ego would trip her up. It did, in the cruelest way. Laura's mom died suddenly before we moved here. To honor her, Laura built a memorial garden in our backyard, river stones, a bench, her mom's beloved roses and lilies. It was Laura's refuge, where she'd sit, lost in memories. Diane saw it as rebellion. A notice arrived: dismantle the unauthorized garden in 48 hours or pay $500, plus removal costs. Laura's eyes filled with tears. She's going to destroy Mom's garden, she whispered. My rage turned cold, focused. This wasn't petty anymore. It was personal. We didn't fight. We schemed. I paid a landscaper cash to move the garden to storage, preserving every petal. We sodded the spot with soulless grass. Then we bought tiny cameras hidden in clocks, outlets, smoke detectors covering every room, streaming to a secure cloud. The bait? Our daughter's green birdhouse, a rule-breaking eyesore. We emailed the HOA, announcing a vacation to visit my ill uncle. We packed loudly, waved to neighbors, and drove to a motel 10 miles away with fast Wi-Fi. There, we watched our empty house on a laptop, waiting. Day 2, Diane's gray SUV pulled up. Showtime, Laura murmured. Diane stormed our porch, clipboard in hand, glaring at the birdhouse. She taped a violation notice, then pulled out an HOA emergency key. My new deadbolt stopped her. Her scowl was priceless. Got you, I muttered. But she called her cousin, a locksmith, who cracked our lock in minutes and left after her cash payment. Diane stepped inside, smirking like a conqueror. We switched to the living room feed. She ignored the birdhouse, rifling drawers, sneering at a photo of my dad and me. She pocketed Laura's silver pendant, muttering about evidence. My fists clenched. She flipped through our vacation album, snapping a photo of us at the lake. Why? What was she planning? Laura's hand steadied me. Let her go deeper, Mike. It's her grave. Diane prowled our home bedroom, office, kitchen, even our fridge, as if our leftovers broke her code. She kicked the birdhouse on her way out, locking the door. We had her, illegal entry, theft, all recorded. Laura called the police, calmly reporting a break-in with live footage. They promised officers at our home and motel. Victory felt close. Then a knock came. I opened the door, expecting a cop. Instead, a grim detective stood with two officers, hands on holsters, holding a warrant. "Michael Bennett, you're under arrest." The world collapsed. Laura gasped. The charges: terroristic threats, illegal firearm possession by a felon, conspiracy. Lies. I'd never threatened anyone, never owned a gun, never been convicted. Diane had outplayed us. At the station, my lawyer, Mr. Coleman, laid out Diane's scheme. She claimed I'd stalked her, screamed threats, and waved a rifle at her. She'd swapped my middle initial, tying me to a felon's record. Her board cronies swore affidavits supporting her. The warrant let police search our home, undermining our video. In my cell, despair hit hard. Diane was untouchable, gloating over our stolen pendant. But Laura's whispered words as they cuffed me, the landscaper's invoice, ignited hope. That invoice, dated before Diane's deadline, proved we'd obeyed her garden order, exposing her emergency as fraud. Out on bail, I clung to Laura, her resolve a lifeline. My arrest had sparked a neighborhood revolt. Ray, no longer joking, rallied our neighbors. That night, our living room became a war room, filled with families the Larsons, Mendazes, Wongs fed up with Diane's tyranny. Laura, our quiet accountant, unveiled her bombshell. HOA fines dwarfed reported expenses, with huge payments to Silver Pines Landscaping, owned by Diane's husband, Greg. The room roared. They'd been scammed. Mrs. Weaver, a former HOA treasurer ousted by Diane, spoke up. Old records, she said, sat in a fireproof cabinet in the clubhouse basement, ignored for years. We crept into the basement, Laura, Ray, Mr. Larson, Mrs. Weaver. The cabinet's new electronic lock stumped us until I recalled a backdoor code from my security job days. A forum post confirmed it, a sequence plus a default password. I punched it in ****, pound, 123456. The lock clunked open. Inside were two ledgers, fake public ones and real ones showing cash funneled to Greg's company. Checks, contracts, and a Cayman Islands account with $212,450 screamed fraud. We photographed everything, uploading it to a secure server. We contacted the state DA's Public Integrity Unit and a tenacious reporter, sending our evidence. Using an HOA bylaw, we called an emergency meeting. The clubhouse was packed, buzzing with tension. Diane swept in, smug, flanked by her spineless board. She saw the crowd as her audience. "Good evening," she boomed. "We've addressed disruptive elements to keep Silver Pines safe," glaring at me. Before she could slander me, Laura stood. "Diane, we're here for truth like the $212,450 you stole." The projector lit up. Checks, contracts, Greg's company papers, the offshore account. Diane's face collapsed. She lunged for the door, but DA investigators cuffed her for embezzlement, fraud, and money laundering. The crowd cheered. Diane and Greg pled out 5 years for her, 3 for him. Seized funds rebuilt our community, slashing dues. My charges were dropped with an apology. Ray became HOA president in a landslide. Laura's garden bloomed again, joined by a garish birdhouse in our Windowa defiant trophy. Peace isn't free. We earned it, and Diane paid the price.